If fear is the only thing stopping us from achieving our dreams, and we only fear what we don't understand, then the antidote to fear is knowledge. All we have to do is find out who has the knowledge that we need to conquer our fears and achieve our entrepreneurial dreams. My name is Callum Walker, and welcome to the podcast that will help you figure it out and conquer this lonely entrepreneurial journey.
So, it's actually 9:30 right now, in the evening. Now, it looks like we're going to have another podcast episode while I'm cooking. Now, a couple of things. Sorry, my thing came onto the low power mode. Couple of things. I'm reading a book at the moment, and it's called 10x is easier than 2x. I spoke about it in the last episode. And they're basically saying, like, you know, kind of anything that's not in your 20% needs to, like, you know, and that lies in the 80% of stuff that you don't have time, energy, and effort for, needs to be delegated out. Now, I feel a lot of shame around what I'm about to say, like loads of shame. And the reason for that is that, like, I've just looked at my fridge. Bear in mind, I'm still a registered nutritionist. I still am. I believe it expires. I've got to, like, go in front of the board and present my portfolio of nutritional work to renew as a nutritionist. I think that's in like September. But anyway, I'm still a nutritionist here. I go into my fridge and I'm like, Barry. One thing that I do have is lots of sources. And by sources, I mean like loads of like chili sauces, because I'm very low carb anyway. So I've got like any chili sauce you need, I've got it. Like we've got Frank's red hot sauce. I've got sriracha. I mean, I've got soy sauce. That's not necessary. I've got Cholula hot sauce. I've also got Cholula hot sauce, but actually with a chipotle twist. What else have we got? Actually, there one in here. I've got Tabasco. I've got red Tabasco. I've got Hando sauce. I've got Oncona West Indian hot sauce. I've got Marks & Spencer's buffalo sauce. I've got another sriracha, and I've got sriracha mayo, and I've also got chili oil. Now, my point is, I've got all these sauces, but I've got no food. And the reason for that and why this kind of like ties in, I'm going to carry on cooking with what little food I've got, is time. Like, time and energy that I've been so consumed with like what's going on at the moment, which is like awesome. It's super exciting. Like, you know, I've got my new membership program launching soon, the Next Level Coach. And I just haven't had time to be able to go to the supermarket fully. And I find like what I end up doing is, luckily I've got a little Tesco Express down the road. But I'll just like nip in and out and like, and pick up my food as and when. Now, the problem with that is that, like, well, first of all, they only have fat-free yogurt, which is crap. But then secondly, like, you know, the choices are pretty rubbish there, and then it's like their prices are much higher. So that kind of sucks. Now, my point with where I'm getting at is that it's got so sad that I've just taken on a new assistant. Her name's Lily. And, you know, I'm super excited to have her on. But part of her task has been to do my online food shopping. Like, it's got that bad that I haven't got the time and energy to do my own shopping anymore. But now, that might seem a little bit silly, but actually I'm like, oh, okay, once a week I need to go to the supermarket. So I take me 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back, and probably about 40 minutes in there. It's an hour and a half. Now, I've just finished today at like 9:30. Like 9:30 I finished up. I'm not in the supermarket now, like no chance. So actually I've told her, here's my weekly shopping list. Can you order it for me? So yeah, I'm really excited for the delegation. I've also said, as you'll know, I'm quite particular with my routine. And look at that for knife skills. That is how you chop. Chorizo. So coming back to it anyway. I'm very particular with my routines and the specific things that I need to have in order to like function. Coffee being one of them. I go through a lot of coffee, both caffeinated and decaf. My keto ester, my hydro tabs, all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, I've given her a list of my essentials that need to come on a subscription basis almost. So yeah, I'm excited to have in my life all stocked up and delegated out. Excellent. But the problem is I'm left with like student food. So I've got to somehow whip up a dish of like onions, peppers, some chorizo, probably some cheese, and make it a bit jazzy. It'll happen. Anyway, what's the point of what I've tried to talk about? Well, yeah, considering it's like, what do I get in some oil? Considering it's like 9:30, 20 to 10, why am I all like upbeat and super excited? And why am I decided to go to do a podcast? Well, tell you what's happened. I've gone back onto a ketogenic diet. Like I'm always very low carb anyway, but I've been a bit out of ketosis recently. Because I've just been enjoying life. And when I say I've been off the wagon, like you would laugh at what my version of off the wagon actually is. I'm talking like having one carb meal per day and the occasional little treat here and there. But like what I find is my level of focus being ketogenic is just so high. He says while yawning, like so high. Like I look at my ability to think, my ability to perform, my ability to be creative. It's almost like when you fully get into a ketogenic state and combine that with a ketone ester, which puts like higher levels of ketones into you, it's like this fog is just lifted from your brain. And I felt that fog for the last 6 weeks. I also haven't been able to exercise as much as I would have liked to because, you know, I had a head injury. I've been on holiday, I've been ill. So that's definitely going to come into it. But anyway, one of the problems is that when you go ketogenic, especially when you kind of get back into a ketogenic state, in the early stages, and I'm praying it doesn't happen tonight, I really am, you can get a bit of ketogenic insomnia where you're just like, now, part of the reason why I'm doing a podcast at 9:45 at night, I'm feeling that surge of energy. So I know that like, which is good, you know, I know I'm in a ketogenic state, I'm producing ketones, but that bit of excess adrenaline, excess human growth hormone, it's pumping. So yeah, I'm super excited to get back into a ketogenic state anyway. I'll do it for a few weeks, probably about 3 weeks. I'm going to Wales actually with my best friend on the 7th through to the 9th of July. He's got a beautiful home there. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, what did I want to talk about? Well, in all honesty, I was like, do you know what, I've got all this energy, might as well do a podcast episode while I'm at it. But I guess really the key thing, and what I want the purpose of this podcast to be anyway, is sharing my journey with you, and sharing all my slides, you know, what I'm working on, where I'm going, because it's interesting. I'll never forget, actually. Well, I've got 2 stories to kind of tell in here. When I first, as you all know, I'm a huge fan of Mr. Russell Brunson. I don't know what it is. I just love him. I think he's excellent. Everything he does, I'm like, yeah, whatever it is, Russell does it, I'm doing it. And in his book, I believe it's in Traffic Secrets. If you haven't read that book or any of his books, read it. You have to read it. Like, his books are just insane. Like, they make running a business just so simplified. Now, my point is that, like, he talks about in Traffic Secrets when it comes to, like, you know, doing a podcast. He's like, you might suck to begin with. So I'm sure that this probably suck. It doesn't suck. But, you get my point. But, like, you might suck to begin with. But basically he was saying that, like, when you have fans who, like, might discover you in 2-3 years' time, what they'll come and do is that they'll, like, rewatch every single of your episodes right in the start, or they'll re-listen to it. And it's interesting, and I know that to be true because I did that. Like, with his podcast, I'm still in, like, 2019. Bearing in mind, that's, like, 4 years ago. But why is that? Well, I think the thing to remember is that your client are fascinated with your journey. They're fascinated to see, well, how did you do it? What's your journey that you went on? And just for a holiday, I went to Rhodes, beautiful island, like stunning. think I went into detail on the last episode actually about how bad the service was, but stunning place. And basically I bought the so Marvel, they has this these books which are really, really cool, where effectively they're taking all of the original Spider-Man comics. I think it's every comic, effectively, but they're taking all of the original Spider-Man comics and then put them into like anthologies, so like volumes. So you can actually buy the book of comic book episode number 1 from 1962 to episode number 10. So comic number 10, which was in mid-1963. So basically I bought on my iPad the first 10 comics of Spider-Man, which, like, I mean, for me, it's like amazing. Yeah, that is like, so while I was on holiday, I actually went through 33 Spider-Man comics. No, it's not 33, that's the last 20. That's it, yeah. I'm on volume 3 at the moment. But what was the thing that interested me the most? Was they had a section right at the start as to how they created Spider-Man. How did Spider-Man come about? And that was really fascinating because I was so interested and obsessed with, well, how did they come up with this? And what was their process? And I think maybe it's because, technically these guys are like creatives. And you look at us as like entrepreneurs, we're creatives. We're taking something from here and taking it out of here into its physical form. So they're like, they're doing that same process. They're taking the idea of this like web-legged teenager who is amazing and put them into action. So I was interested in their creative process. I've got to be careful because I've been spending a lot of time with Americans, and I very nearly said their creative process. I said shopping mall the other day. Oh, terrible. But I was really fascinated with that journey. And my point where I'm getting at with this is like, again, I kind of look at like what the purpose of this is. I want to share my journey with you because I want you to be able to kind of relate. So like, I remember there was a section where Stan Lee, the guy who was like the primary scriptwriter, he's the most famous guy out of like the Marvel comics when it comes to like the producers. He was like, yeah, I'd get an idea at like 3 a.m. And I'm like, I get that. So that kind of gives me a little bit of hope because I'm a bit like, so if that was happening to him and he was able to create quite possibly the biggest fan club ever, and that was his process, I'm on the right path. So I guess we are always searching for external validation, and maybe especially like as like entrepreneurs or self-employed, whatever you call yourself, because we are on our own and we are always searching for that external validation because we can be alone with our thoughts. And that's why I found it so interesting to find out, right, what was their creative process? What can I relate to? And, are there things that I'm doing that that they did? So really, if I kind of look at what I'm working on at the moment, I've got a brand new membership, and I'm making sure that I'm running through my head. It's a membership, not a coaching program. Membership, not a coaching program, because garlic cloves. Right, really simple thing with garlic cloves, by the way. Okay, so you got a garlic clove. Yeah, what most people do, they'll fiddle around with it. Don't bother. Okay, get your knife. Okay, on here, this sort of point, and literally just press it down. Press it down, and then peel off. So easy. Little garlic clove, boom. Super simple. But yeah, so I'm kind of wrestling my inner fixer, because actually what we're doing is we're like, we've got to scale this program. The Next Level Coach was amazing. I had a 6-week course recently. I loved every minute of it. The guys received a ton of value as well. That made me very happy. And I really enjoyed doing it. And what we need to do is basically scale that. And the way to scale that is I can't have one-to-one stuff in there, and I can't be WhatsApping members on it. So I can keep that in my elite group. That's great. Because I love that. I do enjoy that. I love having that proper conversation and that one-to-one application to my clients. But yeah, so I'm currently wrestling. It's a membership site, not a coaching program. But my point is that like it's really, really exciting because it's got me to actually switch up my mentality a bit around actually what I'm trying to do is not necessarily create clients, but create fans. And I actually think that that's really great for me. Not because I want to have fans, but more from the perspective of like, I'm a huge fan. Like I'm a massive superhero fan. And almost like see it from, right, okay, what is it that I connect with? Like, what do I connect with that causes me to be a fan? Why am I such a fan of Spider-Man? And it was interesting because what I was doing while I was away, I was reading my comics, but as my partner will always say, it's like, oh, you can never like read or see something or take a photo without relaying it back to your business. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I've tried not to, but even when I'm reading Spider-Man, I'm like, this applies to my business. It used to drive her nuts at the start, but she's just got used to understanding that I'm cuckoo. That unfortunately, I'm just obsessed with this whole thing. But yeah, anyway, my quote is that what I was doing was I was reading all of the comics, the original comics. But if you look at, sorry, I just got the sync on, found this a bit so out, really tight. I was reading the original comics, and if you look at like Marvel, they are literally, along with the Football Plus, like Real Madrid, Man United, like the biggest fan bases in the world. They have literally like the biggest fan bases. So what I was actually really interested, I was really interested in, first of all, how Spider-Man was created, what was their creative process. I was also really interested in the Spider-Man story itself. But then also, what I found really interesting was at the end of each comic, they would have like a way of interacting with their readers, whether it was like a giveaway, whether it was like a letter from Spider-Man, whether it was like this one thing as well, which was really, really interesting. And this is actually a Captain America comic, which was centered around, they had a little like ad page, which was pay 10 cents to this address and you'll receive a badge, which is a badge saying that you're part of Captain America's Soldier of Liberty or whatever. It kind of got me thinking again as to like what I'm calling it a membership, but like what your coaching program needs to really be. It needs to be a place. It needs to be something that they want to feel part of. And just buying that badge makes them feel like I'm part of something. Like, a poster about Spider-Man. It's like I've got on my wall. It's like I'm in that club. And I look at like what Russell Brunson's done with me. Like, he's got me hook, line, and sinker. Like this guy has literally got me like, yeah, have my money, Russell. But it's like, right, here's your T-shirt. Here's the little like, letter from me explaining this. Isn't this? You're one of us. You're part of the club. You're a funnel hacker. Does that make sense? So almost being like, you're part of Captain America's tribe. So it really, really got me thinking about like, right, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to study, because I'm a big believer. You want to go and do something, find someone who's already done what you want to do and study what they did and apply it to a situation. And I'm like, right, okay, I've got to build a fan base now. I've got to build a fan base. What have they done? Well, first of all, if you look at, again, and I was speaking about this a lot, but if I look at, like, if you know me personally anyway, I speak a lot around why I connect with Spider-Man so much. He's relatable. I love Spider-Man because he's relatable. He's like, pardon my French, he's a fuck up. Like, he literally, he's a young teenager who is trying his best. He's got this unbelievable git. Girls are turning him down left, right, and center. He's constantly finding himself in a mess. and just like overwhelmed, causing so many problems for himself. I'm like, that is literally like me. So they almost like, what do they do? Well, they create very, very, and Russell Brunson calls these attractive characters, but more not necessarily attractive characters, but like relatable characters. You look at the majority of people like in Marvel who are superheroes, they've all got their own vulnerabilities, they've got their weaknesses, and that's what people connect with. So like with you, you know, the way that you portray yourself to your clients, the way that you portray yourself on social media, don't have to be this like prim and proper, whiter than white individual. Like, I don't like Superman. I don't like Superman because he's too perfect. I can't connect with perfection because I just mess up all of the time. I'm just trying my best. So I want to relate to someone who's also messing up all the time, just trying their best, but still achieving success. And I want to be part of that following. So I'm going on a bit of a journey right now of like really trying to understand specifically, right, what is it that these these people have done to create an amazing following. And I'm not on about social media following, I'm on about a proper following. Like a proper following of real fans who really buy into you. So I'm doing that at the moment, which is really cool. I really, really enjoyed this. And this is, I don't want to say I don't know what it is, because I think I do. I don't know what it is, but this thing has just got me. I've never been this excited for my work. I've never been this driven before. Like, I'm so driven right now, but driven in a way that I'm not forcing myself to be driven. It's just autonomous, and it's a bit, being a bit scary, because, you know, putting so much work into it. Like, I'm going to be vulnerable here. Like, so much work into it. I've put a lot of money into it. Like, it's a big gamble. And I'm like, oh, I hope this fucking pays off. But truthfully, I'm not coming from a place of I hope it pays off, because for some reason I just have this faith in my ability to execute it. I have my faith that it will work, and it just feels right. This whole thing just feels right. And I think just one thing I want to leave you on, which I think that's a really important lesson for you to really take on, which is, if you want to have success with this whole game, you have to have an unbelievable amount of faith in yourself, in your talent, your ability, and your vision. And I do. I really, really do. I'm like, I just know this is going to work. Yeah, I doubt myself, but I don't let it stop me. I have these doubts, and I'm getting better and better and better at ignoring them. Going, no, fuck the doubts, because I have proved to myself too many times. I've proved too many times I can do it. So I think if there's one thing that I'd really like to end on, it's like, go and back yourself, believe in yourself, and make sure you're on a path that really, really excites you. And it comes down to the age-old saying that the man who loves walking will go further than anyone else. Like, I love what I'm doing right now. I love it. It gets me so excited. So if you don't love what you do right now, stop doing it. I'm not saying stop doing it immediately, but what I am saying is think of your way out. Why don't you want to do it? What is it that you want to do? Okay, how can I actually focus on the things that I actually want to do versus the things that I should be doing, the things that I feel that I need to be doing, or the things that I'm good at, but I don't necessarily love it. Right, I am going to finish on that. It's 10 o'clock. What I've decided to do, food-wise, is I've put some onions and garlic, some red and yellow peppers, and some chorizo with some chopped tomatoes. I'm going to put some chicken stock in there, I think. Forgot some. Come on, have some chicken stock. No. We've got beef stock. I can't have beef stock in that. So it looks like, oh, I've got a bit of veggie stock. Oh, cool. Bit of veggie stock. There we go. So, I'll put a little bit of veggie stock in there, some herbs, bit of cheese. It's the best I've got. So, and then luckily my online shopping is going to become. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with one thing, which is never forget, if every single one of your clients got you just one new client, you've doubled your business. But remember, ask yourself the question, are you giving yourself? No, screw that. I knew I would eventually. I'm 15 episodes in. 16. Are you giving your clients a good enough reason to recommend them? If not, why not? And what can you do about it? Have a great evening, guys.